for the final project of my school. So I ran to BSN, yay, graduating. Now, so basically it's just, I have my colleague here with me. I have Priscilla, she's, the go-go person that we go to for admin and every good thing. I have my colleague, Maggie here, nurse. I have my friend too that is recording. We're gonna see his face very soon. And I have Oyin around as well too. And the techs and everybody just sitting around. So the topic I have is reduction of inappropriate use of restraint. This is a behavioral health unit, and we use the restraints every time. Basically, people might think that restraint is not supposed to be used, but based on the population that we serve, we have to use them at times. And that's why when we get those people coming, we have a form that we give them to sign, letting them know what they need to expect and stuff with that. That doesn't mean that we just have to do that every time, and that's why I'm doing this, because this is basically saying most times we use the restraint when it's not supposed to be used, the inappropriate use of restraint. So you moving on, I have the slides I'm just going to be going on with and moving on with it. So with this my basic thing is just letting us know why and how people are actually using the restraint wrongly, and what we can actually use instead of using the restraint. So now, what is restraint? Physical, we have different types of restraint. We have the chemical restraint, we have the physical restraint, we have the mechanical restraint. But here I'm really talking about the physical restraint, because that is basically the one that is really is dehuman, and it doesn't really, it's dangerous to people's health. And we use it most times as in the staff use it wrongly, and it causes damage and injury to themselves and the patient as well. So this is basically like educating staff more on how to use the restraint right, so that when we have education, people will be able to know what to expect, and knowing fully well that if we can use the physical restraint last by using some other alternatives that I'm going to show in the slides here better. So we have the physical restraint, saying that this is basically when you have anything that is restraining you, that is stopping you from moving forward. We have different pictures on the slide that I have as well that will show you, the ones we have. In the medical side, we have some people that go through things when they have those ones that have IV, and when they try to pull the IVs out, they can use the wrist restraint on them, which is helping them not to cause damage to themselves. Now we have some other ones that we have, basically the ones we have here that we use, or the ones that are happening right now in our community by the the police moving, just holding people down. Some are leading to trauma, some are leading to death, and these are the ones I'm actually going to talk about. Ones that leads to all those restraints usually not probably leads to trauma, it leads to death, which is not really what we want. But we as nurses and the patient caregiver, we want to be able to do what we're supposed to do with the patient, have empathy with them, and be able to sustain injury instead of us adding more injury to their lives. Moving on with this, the rationale with this is basically letting us know the population we serve. From what I said earlier, we have the mental health people. They have a lot of issues based on their diagnosis, based on their prognosis. So we are here to help to give them treatment, not for us to be causing more injury. So at times, when they come in, some say, they don't want to, they're supposed to take medication. Some might just get agitated, or some might be hearing voices, due to the symptoms or all the prognosis they have. We're supposed to help as a caregiver to be able to do what we're supposed to do, to help them. We have different alternatives I'm going to talk about, showing what we're supposed to do. So from all this issue, now I'm dealing with the staff for us to be able to get involved with our patients, so that we'll be able to know what to expect and what we're supposed to do for them. Now this is the staff involvement. This my slide is actually talking about getting them involved, giving them new ideas on how to be able to deal with the use of the restraint, giving them the ideas and involving them basically in the setting of the treatment plan of the patient, changing the culture that we have about this, the staff and the patient, and basically orienting them afresh and educating them, and if necessary, we need to give them training on these issues as well. Now this slide talks about the problems. So as I said earlier, we have, when we use the restraint inappropriately, it causes trauma, which, demoralizes, it causes staff injuries. We have a couple of, staff injuries based on all those things when patients are amputated, and this is really, expensive even to the company because you go, get the workers' comp and everything. So it's not saving anything, but it's costing most injury to the staff and basically to the patient. It ruins the trust that the patient has for us, and it causes, the death. There's the death 50 to 150 death ratio basically on this that they they actually have. So with this thing on the next slide, we have the one that is the question. So the question is, how do we, as the caregiver, what are the things that we're supposed to do? How do we use other means to help this patient instead of us using the physical restraint? Because statistics actually shows that physical restraint should be used last instead of us, using it first. But most times, when patients are, anxious or aggravated, instead of us staff trying to calm them down, we get, them more, aggravated. And the next thing we think about is, going to using the restraint, which is even costing more, give us more time because it's even more work we should do, going to get the doctor's orders, doing this with the patient, costing doing this. In the process, the patient might even, be calm, but because you already started, you just, have to get through with something. And you have a lot of more work to do than you just going into, trying to calm the patient down, giving them and helping them with some other means that I have to show you. Now I have 3 researches that I actually did on this. And the first research is actually talking about how the use of restraint can be dangerous to, the people's health. By, when you suppress them, doing all those stuff, trying to hold them down, it causes harm to them. Apart from the skin injury, the skin breakdown, we have the circulation problem, we have the airway problems that might lead to, at times death if you're not, making the patient comfortable, and leads to trauma in the patient as well. The other article that I have actually now shows how the staff use the restraint for their own convenience. For example, if the patient doesn't want to take medication, if the patient is not on voluntary medication or forcement, we don't have to force the medication on the patient. And there's some things that we can do. We can ask the patient to just put on timeout, go to your room, listen to music, do some games and stuff like that to calm them down, instead of just aggravating them more, and just have to give them put them in seclusion so as to be able to make our own us feel okay, which is not acceptable with the patient. And the last one actually talks about the power and the relationships that we have actually using it on the patient, which is not really okay because it causes a lot of trauma, it causes death, which we don't want as staff. But as I said earlier, we as staff is supposed to be the patient care and caregiver and help. So this one now in my articles, all the things talking about all the changes that we have. So I have all this one talking about the quiet. We have the means, as I said, using the quiet time. The patient can go in there. It can be in their room. It can be some other places where they can just relax and get things, get their minds settled down instead of us going to use of restraint for them. In that way, things can be okay. At times it might even just be ordinary food. When patient, because based on the medication that we have for these patients, it might just be they're hungry. When you're hungry, at times you just get cranky. Things come up, and you just have to just get through a lot of stuff. This slide shows what the place, the kind of things that we actually, the people that we deal with, we have, depression and all those other ones, dealing with a lot of issues, hospitalization, suffering. And when one has one symptoms, they actually lead to another, bringing out some diagnoses and stuff like that, which is not okay. The other one is about, the schizophrenic person that is actually, hearing voices. We've got a lot of people that when they were, hearing voices or seeing things, they were just trying to see what they can do, trying to plug their eyes out of themselves. You see that they're trying, they don't have the need to, they don't have the power within themselves to be able to control what they're going through. But we are supposed to help them, calm them down. We have a lot of things on the slide that I have that shows that, doing some other things can really help with that. And the other one is, we're using it, as I said, with the staff using all those things together, putting all the changes work with all the means that we're gonna talk about next. Now the recommendations that I have is actually speak calmly with the patient, talk with them, be friendly. Now on the unit we try to the unit director tried to put us together to get more involved with the patient, by going in, using the aided, talking with them over and over again so that you'll be able to get used. And at times they might even have questions on medication. That might just solve what we're talking about, because they're confused or they don't know what they're going through. The doctor did not explain things to them, but when we sit with them and they talk, it helps, We treat them with respect. They're able to treat us with respect. We let them be comfortable, we give them food. If we have enough food, as I said before too, some medications, they make them to be hungry. So we can just offer, anything that we have, more snacks time, explain the procedures and every other thing, the medication intervention, give it to them. So this one's show the recommendations. You see all those people, when they get music, they were really okay, they were calm and it really relaxed them, giving them the soothing music they want to listen to, which really helped with that. So the evaluation of this is actually, trying to see the success. We have a lot of things that, the research is, so this one is basically helping with using the other means, like quiet time, the medication, instead of us going to restrain music. It helps with the patients getting calmed down and we should be able to get results. So the evaluation is trying to compare from the time we use restraint and when you're not using, instead of using all this intervention. They should be able to give us if the project is actually successful. And if it's not successful, we do more research, should be able to put it forward and do some other means to help it. The expected outcome should be what we do every month. We track the monthly restraint numbers and share with the staff to let them know what we're actually going.
Okay. You stated several remedies, or instead of placing somebody in distress, you suggested there are some things we can do or offer to patient rather than putting patient in distress. Can you please give me examples?
Okay, so thank you for the question. And from that, as I said earlier, this is a behavioral unit. It's not that we are not going to use the restraint if necessary.
It's the last resort.
It's the last resort, exactly. So now we try some other stuff. We have the medication schedule. For example, if the patient is supposed to be on medication, it has, of course, when they come in, most times they give them medication in the morning, they give them medication at night. Now the doctor put medication and the person said, oh, I don't want to take medication. Now the patient remained calm, he didn't do anything, he was not disrupting the unit. But because the staff just felt, oh, you didn't use medication, I'm just going to I'm going to force the meds on you. That is not a right thing for you to now okay, because of that, now getting the patient aggravated, now trying to use the restraint so that you're able to force the meds on the patient. That is not a good stuff. Now this patient is okay, he doesn't want to use the medication. The other means we can do is, as we have on 13A, watch TV. You're not disrupting the unit, you're occupied doing something else, you have you get your snacks, or punishing them, with the snacks or whatever, even when they didn't do anything. And that's his exertion of power. So those are the stuff, we're talking about that. Those are not good. We should be able to he said he doesn't want it. But now it's different from another person that is actually, disrupting the unit, that we have to do something. Now, instead of going into the restraint, if the person is destructive and he offered to go to his room, then you give him PRN, or if he stays in his room, he doesn't want to come out or he's not doing anything else, quiet time for him is good. We don't even without you give him the PRN. But if he's still disrupting or coming out naked or something that you feel is dangerous to others, then instead of you going to let's just